It's a Champions League midweek.
It is.
There's a ton of stuff that went on. 6 teams have already qualified. I'm going to get to that later because I have a few things to say about that. I was hoping not to talk about them because I thought this was going to be pretty straightforward. But
Yeah, it should
I
have
think
been.
Manchester United, again, the most event-filled game, the biggest storyline. They leave us no choice. I'm sorry, Eric.
Yeah.
They somehow contrive to screw this up, to go down to 10 men. They're last place in the group. That's a really, really rough period.
It is tough. And after the Fulham win at the weekend, which was not great, we said that. They won, but it was not pretty. They just needed something positive, really. And the first 40 minutes of the game was really positive. They scored 2 goals, could have been 3, 4. Hojlund with a brace, back home in Copenhagen, looking sharp. Rashford on the right-hand side. I thought him and Wan-Bissaka combined quite well, like on the first goal. It was okay. They were controlling that first half. And then the red card happens and it changes everything.
The red card, let's talk about this because it's Rashford. He does a thing where, you kind of, you sort of clench your butt, and it's what you're taught to do, and you almost kind of like defend the ball by boxing out, right?
Yeah,
you
like shielding, yeah.
You spread your legs, you shield the ball like that. As his left boot comes down, it comes down not just on the foot, but it almost like rakes the just above the ankle of the player. Some people are incensed by this red card.
Yeah.
Other people, I watched Fabio Capello saying like, they all know the rules, they all know what they're doing. I don't think Rashford wanted to hurt him. Yeah. But it has to be a red card.
Yeah, and it was one of the games I was doing the analysis, the commentary on in the UK. I know it's the right call. I think the referee who had to go and see the screen, VAR called him up. I think this is the right call. However, I still think that it's a little bit harsh because I think Rashford tried to protect the ball. You could see he's only looking at the ball, and of course he's got peripheral vision and he can see maybe Yelet coming onto his left hand side. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's the right call. Although I think he's a little bit unlucky still.
That's the directive. FIFA call it in their wonderful mangly English. They call it step on foot. And the reason that they issued this directive to get people to crack down on it, and it's not just in the Champions League, by the way. I think it's pretty much in every league. You don't see that happen very often in England because defenders don't defend that way anymore. Yeah. Right? And Rashford, of course, not a defender. Is that it can be really dangerous because if the guy slides in, even though you're just planting your foot down, you don't know that he's there. Yeah. You can seriously injure somebody. So it's almost like it falls in the category of doing something dangerous.
Yeah, it's a bit like Romero for Spurs against Chelsea and Enzo, for example. It's similar. And it's slightly different because it's a follow-through for Romero.
We'll get to that. We're entirely different. He knows exactly what he's doing.
No, but in the sense that your studs end up on the ankle of the opposition player.
Eric Ten Hag, unsurprisingly, not happy at all. And he quite openly blamed the referee, not just over the red card, but over Copenhagen's first 2 goals.
Yeah, because that's the thing, Gab. You can go down to 10 men, and we've seen many teams all the time going down to 10. It's not a reason to lose your shape, lose your head, and just collapse, really, which is what United have done.
Especially you're playing Copenhagen away. Yeah. It's not like you're playing
like Manchester City or Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, whoever you want, but not Copenhagen, even in kind of a slightly hostile atmosphere.
Oh, those scary Danes at the parking.
Yeah, exactly. And that's before him complaining about the penalty call. He's wrong. It's a penalty. Maguire, his arm, the arm is wide. Okay, the ball is quite close to him. It's a penalty. The first goal is saying there's an offside and there's a Copenhagen players interfering with Onana in his line of vision. It's not the case, so I don't know where's that coming from.
It's also they don't use the cone of vision anymore. I don't know if he needs an update from a referee, but Dermot Gallagher, I'm sure, is available. He loves sharing information. But
that's not the reason why his teams just collapsed completely in the last 10 minutes of that first half and conceded those 2 very cheap goals to concede.
Yeah, you mentioned it there, cheap goal. That's, I think, what has to be frustrating because I bought into the Maguire little mini renaissance, right? It's sort of, I said, it's gladiatorial. He's going to sit back. He's going to head every ball away. Instead, he concedes the stupid penalty. And look, it's nearby and everything. It's still alligator arms.
Of course.
You're a big man with large arms. You know that the guy's winning the header. Put your arms to your side or behind your back. I know, I feel stupid. This wasn't what I was taught to do. Fine. The game's changed. You can't have your arms out like that in a crowded penalty area. All right, Jules, because I like storyline endings, I did buy into it. When I saw Maguire hitting the crossbar at the end, I'm thinking to myself, redemption.
I mean, he fouled the player before, so the goal would not have counted anyway, even if it gone in.
Yeah,
but of all the players that United could have had in that position, it falls to him. And it was a good strike, I guess. But I don't know if you come out of this game, Gabby. Ten Hag has been in denial a lot of, it's never his fault, all the excuses and that. But still, if you come out of this game and think like, how, man? Because really at 11v11, they were much better. They were controlling everything. Even at 10 against 11 in that second half, they controlled that second half. Copenhagen didn't create anything until the 83rd minute and their third goal. And yet, for the last 10 of the first half and the last 10 of the second half, where you just lose your shape, your composure, your concentration, everything, which I don't know how it happens. I don't know why. For a team like this, with big players, how do you lose it all like this? I don't understand. And you make mistakes individually, which should not happen. Diogo Dalot should man-mark someone better than what he did on the Leroy girl. There's a lot of things like that, but still, as a team, they just lost their shape completely.
You mentioned Diogo Dalot, and I actually think in United's horrendous season that they've had, and I'm not suggesting that Diogo Dalot's the second coming of Dennis Irwin, but he had a good run of games in terms of performances. If you were to,
not bad.
If you saying like, all right, I want to chuck 15 of this Manchester United squad, off the top of Old Trafford, you wouldn't be ditching Diogo Dalot,
you keep
right?
him, I guess.
But then, in a big moment, he falls apart, and I think he is responsible. I think he feels terrible right now.
Even the second goal, to be fair.
I think the message from Ten Hag has to be, okay, guys, let's build on the positives, on that first half hour. Let's build on the fact that we got back, or Bruno got us back, frankly, right? And we can't send the message either that we're a one-man team and it's all about Bruno, although at times it feels that way. Build upon the positives that, hey, Rashford on the right, he's not going to cut inside and score, but he does give you something different.
Yeah.
I mean, is this something worth revisiting with Rashford?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's not going to play in the Champions League again this year. He will have to wait that if they qualify for next year after the red cards. So at least he will have a good run in the league. And
on the right, what about Anthony?
So this is a dilemma. Because Rashford is better than Garnacho on the left-hand side, right?
Yes.
There's no even on a poor season like the one now, you still would pick Rashford first before Garnacho. Okay?
Yes.
But then Rashford is better than Anthony on the right-hand side, and I don't think Garnacho can play really on the right. It would be a disservice to him. So it's whether you think what option is the least bad, I guess. So almost sacrificing Rashford's best position because Anthony is so bad on the right, so you put Rashford there and Garnacho on the left, or you say no, Rashford on the left. This is his prime position. He has to play there, which means that on the right, then, well, it's Anthony or.
I think you also have to look at the fact that you don't want Anthony to go the way of Jadon Sancho. What I mean by that is you don't want to lose the player. I know he's not been good, and obviously his price tag was way too high, and it wasn't. But there's a player in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And you've committed to him longer term. You won't be able to shift him. Ajax aren't going to buy him back to play in the second
Nobody's
division.
going to buy him now.
So I do wonder, do you have to, part of me feels like I have to persevere with Anthony. Garnacho's time can come. I can use him as an impact substitute. Raising the flag 3 months into the second year of his contract when he's had off-the-pitch issues and stuff like that, to me seems like you can't screw up two gigantic wingers.
So you can't
in consecutive years, can you? Between him and Sancho,
that's true.
I'm just thinking. I mean, there's a real politic to this, is what I'm saying. If he costs 20 million, fine. But
it felt to me that maybe you add Varane instead of Evans. I don't know why Evans started the game. And right now, with all the injuries and everything, it looked like the starting 11 that we saw on Wednesday night against Copenhagen is the starting 11. He's Ten Hag's best team now.
But Mason Mount.
But that's what but that's interesting, Gabby, because then we go, is really the Scott McTominay Eriksen partnership really that for is that what Ten Hag can come up with the best in midfield?
No, it's not.
What about
it's
Mount? What about Amrabat?
What about Casemiro when fit?
But Casemiro is not fit. So take the players who you can play now. I would not have started McTominay and Eriksen. And I know the first half hour they did well.
But it worked.
It worked. But could it work over 90 minutes? I don't think Eriksen can really run a game for 90 minutes at all. I mean, he can't run full stop anymore. But boss a game and run a game, I'm not even sure he can. And Scott McTominay definitely cannot anymore. He was good on the first goal. Okay, it's a good run in the half space. Nice, he does those well. Great assist, no problem. But over 90 minutes, I mean, for me, Amrabat should start. He should play. He should start. And why did you buy Mason Mount then? Why did you make like 5 different offers? You insisted to sign him, and now you don't use him.
He's coming back from injury and blah blah blah. I mean, I think that's
he's been back for a while now.
It's hard to integrate Mason Mount. I think in his view, Mason Mount was going to do the Eriksen job, right? In his view, it was going to be Casemiro, Mount, and then Bruno in front. This was his vision, right?
Well, do Amrabat, Mount, and Bruno then, and give it a go. I just think Mason Mount deserves a chance now, because clearly a lot of things are not working right now. If it was a team cruising with great momentum, you didn't want to disrupt anything, I understand, and I think that's why he also kept the Evans-Maguire partnership. Although Varane has been fit for 4 games now.
I want to ask about this because, frankly, if you get an older player like Johnny Evans, I'm sure he's fit and everything and whatever, and you like his experience, and if he plays as many games in a row, he's either going to have a stinker, and he's had a couple of bad games already, by the way, or he's going to get injured, which, hey, look, that's what he's injured. I mean, it's freaking Evans and Maguire.
Yeah.
And you have Varane. Was Varane fit? Has Varane been fit these last couple of games? So he's making a deliberate decision. It's not because Varane is made of glass, as I like to say, and everything, right?
No.
He's choosing.
Yeah.
Can you explain this?
The only reason, Gav, I can
superstitious?
see... No, I think it's stability, maybe. In the sense that, okay, now we can't keep changing again. I think for the team in general as a whole, but also those kind of partnerships together. So 2 in midfield, let's say Eriksen, McTominay, the 2 centre-backs together. Even sometimes your right back and your right winger, your left back and your left winger. And but even that reason, Gab, I find it like really far-fetched in a way. That you keep Varane, and don't get me started on, is Johnny Evans better than Rafa? No. So I don't really know why.
But also, Lindelof's not going to be injured forever, right?
No.
So presumably you have a hierarchy, right? And at the beginning of the season, in your view, your hierarchy was Varane, Lisandro, and then Lindelof, and Maguire was the guy you never wanted to see again, and Evans was the guy you signed off the street, right?
Yeah.
This was your hierarchy. Well, what message does it send if 2.5 months in, all of a sudden, numbers 4 and 5, in fact, Maguire wasn't even number 4. Maguire wasn't on the list at all.
He was on the transfer list. That's what it was.
I don't understand that part. I want to say something, and I'm not picking on Garnacho. I love watching Garnacho play. I love his intensity and everything. Maybe I'm too old school about this, or maybe it's because when I was younger, I spent a lot of money buying tickets to go watch football. I hate it. I really, really hate it when players shush the crowd. It really bugs me. It really, really bugs me. I saw Nico Jackson do it. That was even more absurd. That was after you score a hat trick against 9 men in the 94th minute on the break, whatever, right? But I love it. And then, by the way, people say it's a human emotion, whatever. Yeah, it's fine. There's a lot of players who don't do that, right? I don't remember Lionel Messi shushing the crowd too many times. Cristiano...
And it's still Messi. It's Messi anyway.
That's
so
fine.
He can do it.
He's allowed to do it. Cristiano does the calma thing, right? But that's him. That's more... He doesn't go and engage with the crowd, right? With the opposing... And these two guys, Cristiano and Messi, because they're so good, they get a ton of abuse as well.
Yeah,
Like they are targeted
for sure.
by the opposing
and
fans
kick.
far more than people don't know who Nico Jackson and Alejandro Garnacho are relative to those guys, right? I don't think Hojlund does that. He gets targeted a lot.
Yeah.
Mbappe maybe a little more.
He did it the other day, and you were not happy.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Listen,
I just leave it. Those people are paying your salary.
Yeah.
Right? Have a little bit of respect.
It looks a bit petty, to be fair.
It really, I really hope they outgrow this.
And also do it if you're sure to win the game, because otherwise life goes fast at you. And then Garnacho went from shushing to like being shushed himself. You know, and that's not a good look. It's never a good look. And
all right, let's talk young strikers. Rooney Bargi getting the winner for Copenhagen.
I love him.
So as far as I knew, he was just a name, right?
He's a promising 17-year-old that
of course,
a lot of
he's in the
people
mix.
rate highly.
Right. More promising than the other Hojlunds at the club? I don't know, but I always find it hard with these teams, from when I say it's the greatest respect for the Danish league, right? They get a lot of hype early and stuff. They're playing in a dominant team domestically. They're usually technically gifted. But he comes on and scores a winner. He's going to remember this.
I would remember forever. 17 years old. Rooney's first name, of course, R-O-O-N-Y, like the English Rooney.
The English Rooney has an extra E in there, but
clearly
he wasn't named for Wayne Rooney unless his parents can't spell.
He was. He just didn't choose to put the E, but he said it himself. No, he said in an interview that he was named after Wayne Rooney.
This is like, remember Maicon?
No, really?
Remember Maicon was supposedly named for Michael Douglas, but I don't...
Rooney Bargi was named after Wayne Rooney, even if his parents didn't spell the name exactly the same as Wayne Rooney. It was that like that.
Why not go the whole way and call him
know.
Rooney? Rooney at least is a real name, right?
Yeah, but you can style it.
Like the actress Rooney Mara.
But I like his left foot. He was very positive when he came on. He took on players. He scored a really lovely goal, to be fair to him, because I think he really means the bounce and everything, the way he hits that volley or that half volley, if you want. It's good. He's only 17. You know, there's obviously a very long time to go.
All right.
But Diogo Dalot should still be tighter, should be closer. And this is really something I don't understand. I know you said he'd been good this season. You would keep him at the club if you were the sporting director at United. You cannot forget your man that you're marking a key time in a game like this at this level. I'm sorry. This is a basic mistake. And the second one, he's still too far. He's where you are. I'm Rooney here. There's nobody else around. It's not like if he feels he has to cover for Maguire, he just needs to be tighter to wherever the ball could come to an opposition player closer to him. And instead, he's ball watching again.
Let's try to give United fans some positives to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
Rasmus Hojlund, 5 goals.
In 3 games in
That's
the Champions
good.
League.
He's
1
young.
against Bayern, 2 against Galatasaray, and 2 last night on Wednesday
That's
night. They were good finishes.
He's developing.
He's
He's
good,
developing
I think.
on a bad team, right?
But tell me why he doesn't score in the Premier League then. Surely. There are not many players. Usually it's the other way around. You score in the league, but then because the Champions League is harder, then you struggle and you show maybe your limit. For him, it's the other way around.
Maybe he has more space precisely because maybe they get more counter-attacking in the Champions League, so there's more space for him to operate. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I think that is a very valid question.
He looks
Onana
sharp,
up and down again, but I also think I think there's a really good keeper in there. And I think if United get to where they want, it's going to be because Onana contributes. Am I wrong here?
No. No, you're right.
Bruno, we've mentioned. He's
mentioned.
the whole effing show, to quote RVD.
Yeah. Onana, by the way, should not have tried to control that. Give it to you. Bad back pass from Wan-Bissaka that leads to the 3rd goal. Just clear it, man. Just send it into the bloody sea.
He's got to. That's why I said light and dark.
Yeah.
You have to try to see what's in there, I think. Finally, chances of getting out of the group. This is where they are. They are in last place in the group.
With 3 points.
They have 3 points. Galatasaray and Copenhagen have 4 points. Bayern Munich are out of sight with 12 points. They travel to Istanbul next, and they host Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Sorry, Copenhagen, and they host Bayern in the final match there.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that Bayern have qualified, if I were Thomas Tuchel, and I think previous Bayern managers haven't done this, but I think Tuchel might, I'd be like, okay, Kratzig, Havlovic, all you Icks, all you guys out there, you guys are all playing. Thomas Muller, you can play too because you're old now.
Matis Tel, you can start.
Well, Tel's actually good, but yeah.
Yeah, but he will start.
So, and weirdly, so normally I would have said, okay, it's an automatic 3 points at Old Trafford against this Bayern B team. But I don't feel that way anymore because those guys might actually be more motivated than if Tuchel sends out the A team.
Yeah. And also, by then, when that game happens, they might be out. If they lose to Galatasaray in Istanbul in 3 weeks' time, they are United. They can't qualify anymore because Galatasaray would have be 4 points clear with 1 game to go. So everybody is talking to me about Bayern. But Bayern will play a B team, a C team. It's great for United.
You need to avoid defeat against Gala.
Exactly. And Galatasaray have been better than you at Old Trafford. They've been really good against Bayern. Even on Wednesday night, they were good against Bayern. It was 0-0 until the 79th minute. They had a goal that was disallowed for a tiny offside from Icardi in the build-up. All of that. It's not going to be easy for United to go away. And you just imagine the atmosphere there. Because Galatasaray would also know, we win tonight against United, then we are through. We finished second in that group. So before even thinking about Tuchel and what kind of team Bayern can put out at Old Trafford, let's try to go and do a job, in Istanbul.
They have to. Do you think a draw? Ultimately, this comes down to, right? People ask questions like, would a draw be enough against Galatasaray? Obviously, they would stay alive till match day 6, but they wouldn't control their own destiny at that
Exactly.
point.
And Gala would play Copenhagen in the last game.
And Gala played Copenhagen in the last game. Although this could be a
It's tricky.
Copenhagen game that's emboldened by the beat. So.
No, for sure. It's very exciting. But if you're United, I think you don't have to be too pessimistic. You can still qualify, of course. We're not saying that you've got no chance. But that Gala game away is, wow.
Okay.
Huge.
Well, good thing Galatasaray are known historically as a very resilient team that never crack under pressure.